Kimberly. Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today in fingerboard geometry, I'm going to continue with triad arpeggios. This time we'll be grouping the triad arpeggios in the D caged area. First, we'll look at fingerings and then we'll do some exercises. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Today in fingerboard geometry, we're going to look at triad arpeggios, and this time we're going to place the one chord in the D form. That means that we'll be placing the root of the one chord on the D string and then position the other caged arpeggios around it. So we're dealing with diatonic chords here. That means chords that are in the key. So we're going to be playing arpeggios of those diatonic chords. And let's start out with some fingering in the key of G. So my root G in the D form looks like this. Here's the root on the D string, and here's its octave. So this is the octave shape. It's considered a D-shaped octave and caged. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the arpeggio. So what I suggest you do is first play the root pattern, and then play the full arpeggio on all 6 strings. So this arpeggio actually starts here on the 3rd of the chord, so G major, okay. Now the 2 chord is A minor in this key, and we're going to be playing it in the E form, so the roots are on the E strings, and then in the middle here on the D string, so this is an E-shaped octave pattern, and the arpeggio looks like this starting on the A root. And then we get to the 3 chord in the key of G. That's B minor, so the octave shape looks like this. This is considered a G pattern. The root is actually on the G string. So the B minor arpeggio looks like this. And then we're up to the 4 chord C. This is the octave pattern. It is also considered G form. Again, roots here on the G string. The arpeggio is like this: C major, then we're to the 5 chord. That's going to be D. The D's are right here. This is considered the A form, roots on the A string. So I'm going to start here on the 5th of the A arpeggio. And then my next chord is the 6th chord. The 6th chord is E minor in this key, and if we look at the E's, they form a C shape. So this is my root E, and this is the same shape that would be like under a C chord. But in this case, we're talking about a minor chord, so it would be like a C minor type chord shape. And this is an E minor chord. This is our 6th chord in G. Starting on the 5th of the chord. Alright, now for the 7th chord, that's F sharp diminished. The roots are here on the D string, so we're in the D form. And I'm going to offer 2 ways to finger this. You can either finger it with 1 attack per string, and a lot of people like that, or you can finger it with a string skip, and that's a little more positional. The situation may dictate how you decide to finger it. Otherwise, you can just practice one way until you get used to it. So let's look at how we're going to finger this. I'm going to start on the 6th string on the lowest note, which is the minor 3rd, and then I'm going to put the flat 5 C over here. And then here's the root F sharp again, and then the minor 3rd, and then the flat 5, then the root, and then the minor 3rd again. So notice I have to kind of shift out of position a bit in order to make that happen. If I keep the flat 5 over here, then I don't have to shift. So again, here's our root pattern, and I'm starting at that minor 3rd again. So minor 3rd, flat 5, root, skip a string, minor 3rd, flat 5, root, minor 3rd. So now that we've looked at the key of G, let's move on to the key of B flat. All right, now for the key of B flat, I'm going to start with the 1 chord in the D form. My root is here at the 8th fret. Here's the octave shape. And we're going to start with B flat major. The 2 chord is C minor. That's the E form. The 3 chord is D minor. That is the G form. The 4 chord is E flat. That is also the G form. The 5 chord is F. That's the A form. The 6 chord is G. That's the C form. That was G minor. And the 7 chord is A diminished. So fingering number 1 would be and fingering number 2 would be Now, let's get a look at the exercises. Alright, for the exercises, we're going to pretty much do exactly what we've been doing in the rest of the video. You're going to play the octave pattern for the arpeggio first, and then play the full arpeggio. We're going to play the diatonic arpeggios going up the scale, so 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord, and we're going to follow the circle of fourths for our keys. So we'll start at the key of C and then go to F, etc. I've done the first 2 here to demonstrate what that looks like, but remember, before you play the arpeggio pattern, play the root pattern so that you know where the root is. So for C, we'd start here, this is the root, and then we play the arpeggio, and then we keep going around, up the scale, I mean. So then D minor, E minor. So you're going to play that octave pattern before you play the arpeggio, just to ensure you know where the roots are. Let's get a look at the exercise. That's it for diatonic triad arpeggios in the D area. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.